Hi, it's Dwayne from CodeWheel. Over the next couple of videos, we're going to be looking at building out this simple landing page using Tailwind CSS. In this video, we're going to be looking at scaffolding the file by installing Tailwind CSS and adding our own fonts and our own colours to the Tailwind config file. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm starting with a fresh folder with nothing in it. So the first thing we're going to do is create an index.html file. So if you just right click there and click on new file, index.html. I'm using VS Code to do all my coding, so enter. And let's just set up some basic boilerplate. So if you do HTML :5, and that installs the boilerplate for HTML. Okay. So the HTML file is created. The next thing that we're going to do now is we're going to install we're going to create an npm package file. I'm going to assume that you've already got Node and npm on your machine already installed. If you haven't, if you just go to your browser and if you type in node.js, no, it's nodejs.org, I think. Cool. And then you just download it. There's multiple versions for what machine you're using. I'm currently using Linux, so you can probably find it if you're using Windows or Mac. So go back to the code. Okay, so I'm going to do it from the command line inside VS Code. To bring that up, it's control and it's tilde. So to install a package file, we just type in npm init -y. So what that does is creates a package file and just skips all like the questions you got to answer. So next thing we need to do now is we need Tailwind CSS. So if you go to the Tailwind website, TailwindCSS.com, installation. And these are all the packages we need. So we just install this. And paste that in there. We're also going to need PostCSS CLI, so I'm going to install that as well. And we -CLI, and we also want to save it to our dependencies file. So if you do -save-dev, okay, whilst that's installing, we just check the next steps. So we need to add a Tailwind config, which is straightforward to do, so we do that now. If that's finished loading. Cool. So it's, go back to the Tailwind website, it's npx tailwind-init. So go back to VS Code, npx tailwind init. I will be using PostCSS to compile my Tailwind config. So if you're using, sometimes you can use like Laravel, Mix or Gulp, but in this occasion we're using PostCSS. So Tailwind can automatically create the PostCSS config file for you as well. If you do -p flag, that will create the CSS file too. So let's load it up. As you can see, the Tailwind CSS config file's there. And so is the PostCSS config also, with auto prefix already on, and so is Tailwind CSS already on. Just remove that. Cool. Okay, so the next step now, if we go back to the documentation on the Tailwind website, is installing these into our base file. So if you copy this up and we're going to create a CSS file. So we're going to structure it as CSS, create a new folder called CSS. Wrong one. Delete that. Here we go again. Try again. So new file. There's going to be CSS dev main.css. Excellent. So we're just going to paste in that Tailwind stuff. Save that. Okay, we've finished installing Tailwind CSS now. All we need to do is build out our build script. So we go back to the pack. We go to the package.json file. I'll remove that terminal because it's taking up a lot of space. So again, it's Control tilde. And in here, we're going to change that to build CSS. Do all that. So we're going to call it post CSS. If you check documentation, I think I've got an example. So well, it used to, so it doesn't matter now, we can write ourselves. So post CSS hyphen dev. So this is the CSS folder we're looking. So you're going to that CSS folder, and then we're going to the dev folder, and we're going to our main.css file. -o to output it. And the place we're going to want to put it is probably going to be in that same folder, but we're going to create one called build. Actually, prod sounds better, so we call it prod main.css. Save that. Okay, so if you go back to the command line, so Control tilde, and then we're going to type in npm run build :css. So that's the name of that script there that we just set up. So see build :css. Fingers crossed this works. Excellent, that's done. So if you go to our CSS folder, prod main.css, now you can see all the Tailwind CSS has been created. Fantastic. Okay, so the next step now is we're going to test if that's been installed. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in that CSS file we just created. So change that title there. So Tailwind landing page. So you can put in that file. So it's going to be, it was CSS. I'm pressing Control space to get these up. So prod main.css. Okay, so just put a little div in here. So div container bg blue 500. Text is blue 50. Let me just say this is a test. This is a test. Save that. So if I copy that path, then we go back to our browser. If this works, it should be a blue background with some white text on. Excellent. So that tells me to pick up the Tailwind config. So we've installed Tailwind now. The next thing to do is we're going to pull in our fonts. So if you go to the design, the fonts I used was click on there. Work sans. That's a Google font, so let's go to Google Fonts and get work sans. So if you just Google Fonts work sans. So I'm just going to select them all. Actually, I won't. I don't need all of them. I need it probably from normal. Okay, so we're going to copy that link into our style sheet. So just copy that. Save that. Okay. Back to work sans, and we copy the font. Back to VS Code. Okay, to install the font into Tailwind, we need to go to Tailwind config file and go to, I'll close that, I don't need that no more. Go to themes, and then you're going to go to extend, because you're going to extend the theme. So we're going to type in all one word, so font, then it's capital, family, and just put an array in and just paste it in. So get rid of that there and get rid of that there. I think I'll just wrap that in quotes as well, just tidy up a bit. Okay, so the font has now been installed. The next bit we're going to do now is install the colours. So if you go back to our original design, so what I tend to do when I'm doing the design in Figma, I try and follow the same sort of format as Tailwind, but I don't usually need that much colours. So it's like B400, grey 800, blue 600, blue 050. So let's do that now. So just go to the colours. So let's lift up that one. So I'll copy that colour there, and now we're going to go back to our config file. Okay, to install colours into the Tailwind config, it's a straightforward process. Similar to adding in a font family, all we need to do is you go up to themes, extend, and we're going to call it colours, COLORS, and then we're going to put it into an array. For the colours that I tend to use, I always do it as CW, so I don't get confused with Tailwind colours. So it's going to be CW, blue. I can't remember what number that was. It was 600. Blue hyphen 600. That's it. That's how to install the colours. So this is probably one of the most boring things you can do. So what I'm going to do is got one that I've made earlier. I'll just copy all them into it. Because watching me copy and paste colours, I imagine is quite boring. So copy that. Okay. You need to put a comma at the end since it's don't want to cause any errors. Okay, so that's the colours on. So now let's compile it again. So if we bring up the command line, so it's control tilde, sorry, control single quote, and it's npm run build :css. And whilst that's doing that, I will just copy that there. Excellent, that's all done. So now let's just see if that's been imported. So if you go to, just Control F on that. There you go. It's been done. So now just make sure you can see it inside the browser. So let's change the body class to font work sans. Hold on. Oops, I made a mistake there, I just realised, sorry. So it's you put it in curly brackets. My bad, I just noticed that when I was doing it. Font, and it's single quotes, work, sans. Sorry about that, guys. So I just need to recompile that. So it's npm run build CSS. So that should work now. So if I do font hyphen work sans, and we make the text big so we can make sure we can see it. Close that. So it's going to be text, say 4XL, and change that to CW. I've got a blue 500, it's blue 600. And blue 050. I'm just adding CW there too. Cool, so as you can see, it's bringing up my correct colour of blue, and it's bringing up the font work sans. As you can see, the scaffolding is being complete now, and it's completed video. We looked at setting up a Tailwind config file, adding our colours and importing our videos. In the next video, we're going to start getting added some coding. If this looks like something you're interested to, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video so you can know when the next one drops. Thanks for watching.